Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the blueprint. INEC to parties on March the 18th polls. Your supporters, agents, must refrain from violence. We will be tough on major flashpoints. NSA, CP speaking. Operatives won't spare those bent on compromising the process. Nigeria's politics, fascinating, has bright future. British envoy speaking there. All the details on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. Down to the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. Saturday polls call your supporters, agents to order. Federal government warns parties, says adequate security in place. Saturday polls are contest, not war. INEC to parties. On the front page of this Nigerian newspaper now, Saturday's governorship poll, not do or die. INEC warns, urges parties to refrain from act capable of disrupting exercise. 28 governorship slots, 993 state assembly seats to be contested. And on the front page of the First News newspaper, terrorism financing fraud allegations, order Emefiele to step aside for probe. 259 CSOs tell Buhari. You find the details on the front page of the News newspaper. Mike?
All right, I have Daily Trust here. And Daily Trust says CBN yet to release old notes to banks. Commercial banks struggle to meet customers' needs. And Nigerians decry rejection by traders and inject new notes to ease cash crunch. Experts are saying this. So CBN yet to release old notes to banks. That's what the Daily Trust has. And now let's move to the Nation newspaper. Banks limit customers to 20,000 naira over the counter. Banks limit customers to 20,000 naira over the counter. Branches expect more allocation from CBN. Don't reject notes, says governors. Okay? Don't reject notes, say governors. That's what the Nation newspaper has. Business Day is next. And it says banks dispense old naira notes, queues ease and customers cautious. Banks dispense old naira notes as queues ease and customers cautious. Now from there, let's go to Leadership newspaper. Leadership says bank e-payment glitches continue despite soaring transaction volumes. Bank e-payment glitches continue despite soaring transaction volumes. Experts blame policy failure on hasty approach as banks pay out old naira notes. Queues persist nationwide. This is what the Leadership newspaper has. And from there, let's go to Daily Independent. Daily Independent is saying IATA kicks as airlines blocked funds in Nigeria rise to $744 million. IATA kicks as airline blocked funds in Nigeria rise to $744 million. Worried trapped funds in Nigeria highest in the world. Right? That's what Daily Independent has. The Nature News is the last one we're looking at now. AFDB okays 362,000 euros of funding for Yobe Basin Trust Fund. As African Development Bank okays 362,000 euros of funding for Yobe Basin Trust Fund. Veronica?
All right, gentlemen. Let's look at the follow-up from the directive that came from the CBN, talking about the 500 naira, the 1,000 naira being a legal tender, which came as some sort of relief for a majority of Nigerians. And a lot of them trooped to the banks yesterday. And from what we are seeing on the front page of some papers this morning, it says some banks are limiting customers to just 20 transactions. And there are also calls for the CBN to release old notes back to the commercial banks.
Yes, yeah. But one thing that is has not been spoken of here is that even the new notes that they have been printing forever, they still don't have them. Is it not amazing? They don't even have the new notes. Right. They were still fixated on the old notes. And yet they're supposed to have been a swap or supposed to have been a change. This is a disgrace, a real disgrace, to administration. You know what Conrad called in his novel Nostromo? It's a nightmarish parody of administration without law, without security, without justice, unquote. That is what we are saying. Emefiele, and they are not coming to show that they love us now. But what they are saying, oh, okay, we're giving you your notes, and we now love you. What's that? Is it Shakespeare who said it in his novel, his place, Caesar, Julius Caesar? He said, it's never what they love. He never loved until never what they love. You know, at the time you love, you don't really love. You're not really loving people anymore. Right. Yeah? When you're supposed to love me, you didn't love me. Yeah. Now, when you're showing love, you're not what is love. That's what they're showing. That's what they're doing. It's a real disgrace. And even some banks didn't give money yesterday. Yeah. Some banks didn't have money yesterday. And then they are rationing. Okay. It's better than nothing. It's, people from my side say, at all, na winch.
Taking us back to Delta State this morning.
Yeah, at all, na winch. So I mean, we'll take it. Well, what you have, we take it. They say you take the low-hanging fruits, just take it there. And it's better than the one that is tantalizing that you cannot touch. So you take the one that you can. But just by the way, we should not forget the news story. Released by Pantami, news yesterday, that there were thousands and thousands of cyber attacks.
He said
on presidential
12 million.
12 million cyber attacks. Where are they coming from? Was that why IREV? Was that why the IREV was shut? Was not operating? Was that why? We know that INEC knows more.
Yes,
INEC knows more than he's saying.
Yeah.
INEC knows more than he's saying. Who were those who were trying to hike IREV? So we have to know the story about IREV. Yeah. Why were the other parties so particular about IREV being flashed before us? And why is INEC quiet? Maybe they will say it in court when the matter comes. They say, okay, we had, this man has given us hint, Pantami has given us hint as to what was happening that day. Imagine if they set the IREV open and there was an intrusion. We would have greater chaos today.
Yeah, exactly.
So INEC perhaps need to speak at some point,
yes.
So that we can clear the air and perhaps repose confidence on the system.
It's quite important on that one, because the point there is he said on the day of election particularly there were over 6 million attacks on INEC on the system. Now the point there is that from the collation or summation, it may not be only INEC system that were attacked, but the point there is INEC was the target from within the country and outside of the country. You know, so we have to get to that. But back to the issue.
The issue, yes.
The central bank, it seemed obvious now that the central bank actually underestimated the magnitude of the project that they were going to embark on. Because like Sam said, as at now, how many that CBN and all the agencies involved have the capacity to withdraw all that currency and print new ones? As at now, even if they were printing every day or printing every week or printing every month, they should have gotten everything they want to get by now by injecting the adequate volume of the currencies that Nigerians need. Even if you don't want to put in the old one, you could have injected the new ones that are adequate for Nigerians to use by now. So you can't find the new one, you can't find the old one. Nigerians are still in that, although with this obedience of, what do you call it, the obedience of the Supreme Court order as at from yesterday, things are easing up a little bit, but it's still not.
It's not, because
it's not close to what
I
we
was
used to.
reading a report this morning where they said that at the height of the cashless policy, the banks received some, commercial banks had the old, and they didn't get directive as to what to do with them. That is why some of them decided to dispose it off on their own. Like we saw some videos that went viral.
But the banks themselves doesn't have the right to dispose or shred or destroy the currency. It is the central. It is the responsibility or authority of the central bank. Except central bank has given the order or circular, destroy this volume of naira. Because when it comes to printing, when it comes to withdrawing, when it comes to replacement, it is the central bank that is vested with that authority. So we saw those, saw the videos. Although we can't verify that video, whether it is even something recent or not. But the point there is that commercial banks don't have the rights, don't have the powers to destroy the currency of the country by any means.
Right.
I believe that the money that was distributed yesterday didn't come from the central banks. But the ones the banks
people deposited,
the ones they have,
they're
recycling. They were not permitted to dispense.
But now customers are being cautious of depositing their monies back to the banks, because if you look at one of the papers this morning, it says customers are being cautious.
Yes, it's the beginning.
It's expected.
The beginning is going to be like that. This says, the Bible says, all things are passed away, behold, all things are become new. All things are becoming, they are still not passed away, because there are no new things.
And there's no vacuum.
There's no vacuum.
So we must maintain it somehow.
So that's what it says. So we are not financially born again. So we are still there. The old sins are still there. We're going back to our vomit.
So the money is still circulating around the people. Now, at the end of the day, would you say the CBN achieved its purpose?
It is one of the great disasters. In fact, this brings, that's why people are calling for the sacking of Emefiele. Emefiele is a disgrace to finance. It's an ignominy to finance.
That's a hard one.
But that is a fact. To finance. He shouldn't be in that kind of position. In any other society, he should have resigned. And he's still there. But the problem is not his alone. It's the federal government, it's Malami, it's the president. The president cannot say, I did not know that people have been suffering all this time. How can you say that I did not? He did not say I directed Emefiele or Malami to go and get the money. He only said, I did not say that they should not. So it is a negative statement, it's a negative statement. And there was no apology. People have been suffering, people have died. Somebody walked and dragged to his death. Yes. That kind of thing. So there's enough blame to go around. It's a bad chapter in Nigerian history. One of the worst chapters. One of the things, what they call unforced errors in tennis.
All right.
That's what
I know there's much to say, but we need to wrap it up at this point. Coming up on TVC Breakfast,